Yeah. A very good evening to all of you and a very warm welcome for this very special occasion of launching the most awaited industrial portal. Uh, Honorable President ICAI, CA Atul Gupta ji, Vice President CA Nihar Jambusaria ji, our guest of honor today, CA Sanjay Dugani ji, Vice Chairman of the Student Skills Enrichment Board, CA Pramod Kumar Boopji, and all my dear student friends. It's a very great day today. We are going to launch a very important portal, that is industrial portal. We'll discuss about the industrial portal, but let me just brief you about what the Student Skills Enrichment Board is about. Student friends, you'll be very happy to note that from this year onwards, ICAI is going to focus much more on the development of the students. This has already been done for the last 70 years, but we are going one step ahead. And that is the reason, this year, along with the Board of Studies, which has been there in ICAI for quite a long period of time, almost from the inception of the institute, now a new committee has been formed, a new board has been formed, that is the Student Skills Enrichment Board. So today, we have three different committees of ICAI working for the benefits of the students. First is the Board of Studies, which deals with the curriculum of the students. Second is the Student Skills Enrichment Board, which deals with the skills aspects of the students, how we can develop the student skills. That is the subject matter of this particular board. And the third one is the examination department conducts the examination for the students. So, our visionary president, CA Atul Kumar Gupta ji, and the vice president, while we were discussing in the beginning of this year that what more we can do for the students, then it was found out that our students are academically very strong. Whether it comes to accounts, it comes to finance, it comes to audit, it comes to taxation, our students are better. Globally, they are the best. But because our examination pattern is more on the paper pen method, and some few aspects of management should be, taught to our students with this particular concept in mind, a new board, the Student Skills Enrichment Board, has been, floated during this particular year. And fortunately, I am the founder chairman of this board with a very capable vice chairman, very competent person, CA Pramod Boopji. And we have taken a number of initiatives this year in terms of the Student Skills Enrichment Board. Some of the initiatives, of course, the latest one is about virtual MCS and virtual IDD. Why students, we never imagined till March that this is going to be the scenario. And but when we were facing this particular challenge, we said that why not we convert this challenge into opportunities. The students were sitting at home and we wanted them. They utilized their time in the best and in the effective manner. And that's why we immediately came up with the concept of virtual MCS and virtual ITT. One by one, we started taking up the batches of this virtual ITT and MCS. That was one of the major initiatives that we have taken up this year. The second initiative, I'm sure the students will be very happy to note, is that up till now, in our conferences, we were dealing more with the curriculum. We were dealing with income tax, we were dealing with auditing. And of course, these are very important subjects for us. That goes to our core competences. But at the same time, the other important aspects like leadership, entrepreneurship, presentation, communication skills, delegation, these days, understanding the global business, at the same time understanding the international practices, what is happening in our profession across the globe, at the same time, technology, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud computing, all these are some very interesting topics, new avenues, where, these are the topics where our students should be trained. So the good news is that during this particular year, when we are going to have national conferences, of course, this COVID is not going to last long. We are going to see back the great days. I'm sure you are using these days very well for your studies as well as your virtual MCS and training. And once the COVID effect is over, you'll be back to your articleship, learning the practical aspects of the trade of the profession. And you'll be having number of conferences where these conferences will be termed as the leadership conferences, because we are sure our students are the leaders of the future. Another very important initiative, that is, of course, industrial portal. And friends, along with articleship, naturally, I don't require discussing what is the importance of articleship. It is the backbone of this particular profession. This is a particular profession which makes you competent. The day you get a degree, that is the day you can start your office, and that is thanks to articleship. While in other professions, once you get the qualification, you do work for 3 to 5 years. This is particular profession. While you study, you work for 3 years very rigorously, and from the day one, you are a professional. So articleship is very important. Along with that, we do recognize that industrial training is also very important, because more and more chartered accountants today are going into industries. With this concept, at the beginning of the year, we were discussing with President and Vice President, and guided us very well that we should have a target of having thousands of students, maybe 10,000 students initially, to take up the industrial training, and for that we will have to facilitate them. And for that purpose, we came up with this technological aspect of industrial portal, which I'm sure will enhance the capabilities of students, will make it convenient for both the companies and the students in terms of industrial portal. So friends, today it is a very great day. We are launching our industrial portal. And before we go further with this, I would request our President ICIC Atul Gupta ji, to give his initial remarks and bless the committee as the students with this, happenings in the institute. Sir, please.
Vice President, sir, would like to.
What I'll do is, before the President gives the address, I would request the Vice President ICAI to give an address explaining the students the importance of this training. Students' training is the most important fundamental aspects, and our Vice President is going to deal with this particular aspect, explain and encourage the students. I would request the Vice President ICAI to address the students. Sir.
Thank you, Jai Bhai. Honorable President of the Institute, C.A. Atulji. Our guest of honor, C.A. Sanjay ji, who is the chairman of the Professional Accountants for Accountants in Business Committee of IFAC. And it's our privilege to have him here today, who will give international perspective to what we are doing and will add a lot of value. The respected chairman of this committee, C.A. Jai Chaira, and Vice Chairman C.A. Pramod Bog, both of whom are putting the best of efforts to do the maximum for students to enrich their skill. Friends, I think the chairman has set the perspective very right, but I would like to speak about this board which has been set up this year itself by our visionary president of the institute, C.A. Atulji. You are all aware that Board of Studies was one board for so many years and was doing all the functions for the students. I recall the days when we studied, and thereafter so many years passed. And year after year we started realizing that only technical skills are not enough for students when they qualify to come in practice or to go for job and perform right from day one. There are many other skills which are necessary. So under the Board of Studies itself, general management and communication course was introduced. Information technology training was introduced. Students' conferences were being held, where students were given the platform to speak, interact, and network with each other. However, going forward, a need was felt that students' skills should be enriched to such an extent that whatever knowledge they are gaining and in which they are considered to be the best in the capital market or whatever market you call it, they are considered to be the best, but they are not able to showcase their capabilities so well. So this year, the president thought it fit to divide board of studies into two parts, although it still is one, but it is divided into one part. The one wing of board of studies looks after the academics of the students, their study materials, their virtual classes on technical subjects. The other board which has been created, Student Skill Enrichment Board, and it has been given to chairman and vice chairman who have so much of passion for students, and they are given the task of enhancing their skills, enriching their skills. And what are these skills? The management and communication skills, the information technology skills. We were feeling the need for it for many years, but in COVID period, in last 3.5 months, we have realized that the need to be techno-savvy is the foremost now. Everybody has started working from home, started learning from home. The institute has started teaching from home, as Jai Bhai put it right now. And time has come when we will have to learn these skills so fast that we are hands-on with the latest technology platform. And it is so important even for students. The institute is doing its best to put students in the best position. When they qualify, they are out in the market to be absorbed by anybody. And industrial training. Let me speak about today's subject. A portal is being launched. Industrial training. A question may arise in the minds of students whether industrial training is necessary. And why I'm putting this question? Because up to last year, we have seen not more than 10% of the students are opting for industrial training. Perhaps because they were feeling enough opportunities for industrial training are not available. Which companies will take them, it was not known to them. Apart from that, the companies which were eligible to train them were very limited. Whereas now, last year, the president formed a group, and I had the privilege of being the convener of that group. That group had to decide, or rather recommend, whether apart from normal companies which are in different sectors, we should extend the scope of industrial training to the government sector also. Like, can students be trained in the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, in High Court office, in Supreme Court? Whether we can put them to Ministry of Corporate Affairs office, C&AG office, and the group recommended scope expansion. Now students have scope to select any industry, or even those students who want to become IRS, IPS, they will have scope to do industrial training in those sectors also. And this industrial training portal which the SSCB is coming out today will be so relevant, because on this portal, any company or any organization who wants to register itself for offering industrial training to students can register seamlessly. The rules and regulations are all given. They can tick the box, follow the regulations, and register themselves. Students can register if they want to go for industrial training. Previously, various approvals were required, and for last 2 years, when SSP portal was being launched, the institute was very clear that all functions they want to automate. Human interventions we want to reduce to the minimum extent. And this portal, again, in the area of registering for industrial training, will reduce human intervention to the bare minimum level. If all formalities are completed, probably there will be no need for any human intervention. The BOS will approve their industrial training in a couple of days' time. So it's a very good step that the board has taken. Even the students will have information about scope expansion of industrial training. And I would put it this way: whether you want to go for practice or you want to go for a job in industry, industrial training in today's scenario is a must. And whether a student has aptitude for industry or no aptitude, once you have aptitude for CA course, it is absolutely necessary to understand the industry, the trade and business. Even when we take up job of a statutory or internal auditor of a company. We understand complete business of the company sitting with the executives and directors of the company, without which we cannot perform our audit function well. So when now we have become complete business solution provider, and that is how society looks at us, it is absolutely necessary for us to undergo industrial training, although it is not mandatory. But in my view, if you take 2 years practical training under a CA firm, 1 year's industrial training is a must if you want to be successful, whether in practice or in employment. So with this objective, the board was set up this year. The board's task is very daunting. It has to train students on communication skill and put them at par with any other profession, like MBA or any other profession, and demonstrate to the society that chartered accountants are not only knowledgeable, capable in terms of applying their knowledge, but they have got excellent communication skill. They are hands-on on technology, and they can provide any kind of service as a complete, full business solution provider. I compliment and congratulate the board for coming out with this portal today, which will be launched at the worthy hands of the guest of honor and our president. And it will be open to the students and will be available to both industry, businesses, and students, and will facilitate registration of students for industrial training. My hearty congratulations to you and wish you all the best. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me today. Back to you, Chairman. Jai Shri Raji.
Thank you very much, VP sir. It was really very wonderful and very meaningful address to the students. And I'm really very happy. I'm sure the students might have picked up the point that today we are the complete business solution providers, and we require 360-degree view of the trade, profession, business, and hence, whether after completing your chartered accountants you want to go into practice or industry, you should have a taste of both articleship as well as industrial training, as guided by our Vice President, sir. Sir, thank you very much for providing this information to our students. Now, I would request our President ICAI for his presidential address as well as the launch of this particular portal. Students, actually, this industrial portal was the idea that our President has given us, and we have worked on that particular thing. He has always guided. Sir, thank you very much. And now I request you to kindly guide our students.
Thank you, Jai Bhai, and Honorable Shri Sanjay Rwani ji, who is not only the guest of honor for the day, but also to all my viewers, just to tell you, Sanjay Rwani is the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank in Tanzania. He is from India only, but now he is the CEO at Tanzania of the Standard Chartered Bank, and also the chair of the committee for professional accountant in business at the IFAC. So welcome Sanjay ji as a guest of honor, and I believe that you are the exactly the right person for this kind of activity, because you are the CEO and you will be telling about the trades you are looking for, the skill set you are looking for in the future chartered accountants, our dear students. Honorable Vice President ICAI Nihar Jambusaria ji, the Chairman Jai Bhai, and Vice Chairman Pramod ji, the Student Skill Enrichment Board of ICAI, and a very good evening to all the future of the profession, my dear students, and even the large number of members who are viewing this live webcast being organized by the board, along with the launching of the industrial training portal for the students who are looking forward to join the industry in the times to come. Friends, each one of you will be agree on one point, that the chartered accountants are always known for their world-class competencies, may it be in the accounting sector, auditing sector, or taxation, business advisory, and finance. But that all these skills, the chartered accountant, as rightly mentioned by Honorable Vice President and Chairman, that the students are having, our chartered accountants are having the requisite skill sets with them to perform all these functions which they were talking about. But it is very, very important also that we have to see that with the changing time, with the passage of time, not only we are possessing these skills, but also we are reskilling ourselves to remain relevant in the society with the changing time. I just share you the few reasons that why should we have the skill set and why should we have to reskill ourselves with a constant effort should be there to reskill ourselves. Since the profession of chartered accountancy or the MBA or all these professional course professional qualifications always evolve towards the around the economic situations. So the every business is looking for the more and more effectiveness in a way of generating more and more surplus. And by reason of that, they always use the innovative way. Just to share with you that with the passage of time, the business changed their way of doing business. They earlier the businesses were being managed manually. Now the more and more technology is being deployed into that. They are looking for the innovative way that they can improve their effectiveness as well as their productivity. So what we have to do that we have to understand these innovative way, and then we have to adapt ourselves. I just just to share with you an example that in the initial days, maybe in the 10 years down the line, all the companies who are looking for their capital, they were looking for the IPOs, that is the initial public offers. But now when they have to have the funds available with them, they are looking towards the strategic financing in terms of the venture capital. So we were like as a chartered accountant in the days when we qualified the examination, we were being taught that how to disclose the share premium account, how to disclose the initial public offer, what will be the share capital, paid up capital, authorized capital, and so on. But now the students need to learn that how to show the valuation, because in the earlier days, the 95% of our balance sheet size was capturing the tangible asset, but now it is like a vice versa, that it is the 95% intangible asset are there in the financial statement, meaning thereby the valuation is being reflected in the balance sheets in the crores of rupees. Now, how you will deal with that situation, that is something required, a reskilling at our level. Same way, the digital disruption. Normally, what was happening that the technology is always, I used to say, is a merciless. So what will that technology will do? That the technology will try to improve the things, increase the effectiveness by, I will say, the use of the various kind of innovative steps. For example, the robotic process automations are doing the journal entries in the accounting packages. The ABCD, that is the artificial intelligence, blockchain technology used to will be doing the routine jobs, the repetitive jobs, and practically because that carries the maker-checker concept. So they will be doing more efficiently the routine jobs, the repetitive jobs as compared to the manual process right now we have. So we have to do that. We have to master the skills which will give the role of the chartered accountant. That is the role where the wisdom is required, where the skepticism is required, where the analytical skills will be required. And that's why we used to say that we have to master the C and D, that is the cyber security and the data analytics, to do the assurance on the commission part rather than the omission part. Same way, we are living in an era when we have the delimitation of jurisdictions. Earlier days, we were reading the service tax, income tax, or the laws which have the local jurisdiction. So Tanzania have the local jurisdiction, India have the local jurisdiction. But now we are living in an era when the GST is applicable, which is applicable in 164 countries with the one or the other name. In the Tanzania, it is being called as a VAT, but in India, it is being called GST. But the fundamentals are same. Then likewise, the international taxation, likewise the valuation, likewise the IFRS, which is being given the different name, like we used to call that as an Ind AS. So what we have to do, we have to understand that these delimitation of jurisdiction bring the international competitiveness, international challenges, and not only the challenges, but also it offers an opportunity to become yourself as a global leader, as a global professionals, have the international footprints for you. Now, the last but not the least is a very, very important topic which we used to organize the program, that is CFO to CEO, meaning thereby you can be a master, you can be a very good CFO because of the technical skills you have. But as I rightly requested Sanjay ji that who will be speaking on this part, that to become a CEO, you require a special kind of a bent of mind, the special kind of a skill set, so that you can think as a business solution provider rather than only the assurance service provider. rather than only dealing with the I will say the maths, I will say जिसको हम कहते हैं कि अंक गणित. तो आपको मतलब you should not be dealing only with the numbers, rather than you should be having a the attitude of a business solution provider. Now, friends, with having all these, I will say the preamble which I shared with you, why you need a skilling and the reskilling. It is very, very important, as rightly shared by our colleagues, that we should have not only the skill, the technical subject expertise, but we should have the forensic skills, we should have the IT skills, we should have the analytical skills. And apart from that, as rightly mentioned by a number of times from the last 20 years, I am quoting a quote that it is not the aptitude, but the attitude that determines one's altitude. Meaning thereby, the aptitude means the ability to learn. The attitude means the personality traits. So what kind of a personality traits you carry with you, that will determine where you will reach in your life. And that is exactly the Vice President sir was talking about, that because these days our students who are qualifying the CA examination, the 80% of them are joining the industry. So we thought it at a right time that we should have a separate board that is called the Student Skill Enrichment Board, to make our students the industry ready. That in case they want to go for an industry, there should be a flavor available with them, that they should have that kind of a skill set that they will be able to join the industry in the times to come. Now, when you are doing a training, you are getting the aptitude part. But in case you want to get the more efficient attitude part, that is the office culture, the communication skills, the leadership skills, the presentation skills, the office environment, how to work in an office environment, the team working, all these skills are there when you will be moving into the industry. And that's why, to make it comparatively easy to join, because at times we feel that the industry is looking for the young chartered accountants, the future chartered accountants. The students are also interested to join the industry, but there was I will say the communication gap, or I will say there was a requirement of the bridge. And that is exactly we requested the Honorable Judge Bhai that let us bridge this gap by creating this kind of an industrial training portal, which will offer the opportunity to have a matching concept between the industry and the students, so that they can join the more and more into this industrial training. In the times to come, they will become the future ready professionals. I used to say the future ready professional, the new age professionals, so that they can contribute not only in their success, they will be contributing in the success of the industry, the success of the economy. And that's why in the last, they should become the CEO rather than only the CFO. So we have to understand from Sanjay ji and other colleagues that how to become the CEO from the CFO. So that is something that will bridge this, the skill set we are talking about will bridge that particular gap, that in the times to come, our chartered accountants who are already taking the, I will say that today we have more than 40,000 chartered accountants at the global level outside India. They are working outside the Indian jurisdiction and they are holding the various senior positions. But it should not be that the few of us are excelling. It should be that everybody should be excelling in the same level of understanding and the knowledge and the skill set. That is the aim, that is the motto of the ICAI. And that's why we organized this program, that let us have the discussion with our future of the profession, our colleagues, our young brother and sisters, that what kind of a skill set you should have, why the skill sets are required, what kind of a skill set you should have, and then what is the way forward to acquire that kind of a skill set should be discussed, deliberated, and then whatever the questions are there from the student, that should be answered in that particular domain. So I believe that with this program and in the presence of the Sanjay ji, that there will be a great learning experience for all of us. Thank you very much, Jai Bhai, for putting your heart and soul for all the initiative of the Student Skill Enrichment Board, and I wish a very good learning for the future of my profession, my dear younger brother and sisters, that is the students of the ICAI. Over to Jai Bhai for your deliberation, and request Sanjay ji to guide us.
Thank you very much, President sir. And students, I am very sure you must have been motivated by listening to the leader of our profession. President sir rightly talked about that the world is changing from tangible to intangible. This is a very important thing. He talked about how to convert global threats into opportunities. And a very, very crucial thing he talked about, and that is CFO to CEO. This is a very important thing. We have acquired the skill set of a CFO, but if we add strategy, branding, marketing, team building, and such features, then definitely we can move to CEO And that is what actually Student Skills Enrichment Board is looking at. And the President, sir, has talked about, the aptitude, attitude, and altitude. That more than your aptitude, it is your attitude that determines the altitude. And today, we have our guest of honor who actually is most appropriate in terms of aptitude, in terms of attitude, and in terms of altitude, because with the right aptitude he has and the attitude, he has reached altitude in his career. And now I would request our guest of honor, Mr. Sanjay Rugani, Chairman PAIB of the IFAC, to guide our students and motivate them, inspire them to shift from CFA to CEO and make them future-ready professionals. Sir.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. CA Atul Kumarji, the president of ICAI, CA Niharji, the vice president, CA JG, the chairperson of SSEB, which I think is a very dynamic body, and I'll talk a little bit about it, and CA Pramodji, and many other professionals and colleagues on the call. Very good afternoon and namaste to everybody. I'm calling from Tanzania, which is based in East Africa. And when we talk about IFAC, it's a global body which represents 175 accountancy association organization. So that's how big I represent the profession. Also, as the president said, I am currently the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank. I'm also the president of the CEO Roundtable in Tanzania, which is managing 150 top CEOs in Tanzania. So that's the membership. And it's an absolute privilege to be talking to all of you. Let me start by congratulating ICAI. With the 175 professional accountancy organizations that I deal with, I have not come across, and I want to say this, I have not come across any of those associations that has a very specific student skills, and I want to use the word enrichment board. It is very evident in your passion, your commitment, and whatever the president spoke, the vice president spoke, JG spoke, that the best thing that I've recognized about, recently being more associated with ICAI is your extreme boldness and passion to contribute to student enrichment. I also want to say that, you did say, CAJG, that, I'm here to motivate and inspire the students. I think gone are those days when we can motivate and inspire them. We can only tell them the truth. And what is being talked about today is the truth, that you need to be future fit. You need to inspire yourself to conquer the future that is very much close to our hands. We can, I used to, and today I was talking to CA Rajesh earlier today, that, in my life, I was always taught you can take a horse to the river, but it is the horse's choice to really drink water or not. I say this with a lot of authority. In early 1990s, I also used to live in India. Actually, I've lived in India for 13 years. I'm actually a Tanzanian. And one of the things I did is I did my articleship with the institute. And it was very impressive. But it was very impressive from a technical concept. It has taken me 3 professional accountancy associations and 7 different organizations to be future fit. What is amazing is that all the students who are listening to you and are now part of the ICAI are getting this from one institution. So you have encompassed everything that I did for so many years in one institution. And it's being served to them through this Student Skills Enrichment Board. And you talk about it as future fit. I can say that, the students in India could not be more blessed to have such a competent organization with so much passion from the president. So I just want to compliment you all. During this Corona times and COVID times, I think this is my 6th call with the president. I've been in regular interaction. We have 2 types of leaders in this world. Those who are being managed by Corona and those who manage Corona. So I just want to compliment the president that he's taken this, time to really manage Corona, because, you've completely transformed the way learning is being dispersed, how you're engaging with students, and consistently keeping in touch with the global profession. and the changing times. So whether it comes to thought leadership, whether it's come to driving awareness of the changing dynamics, whether it is really supporting the students, and we're talking about this today, or also differentiating the profession to become future fit. I compliment the Institute for taking a lot much more leadership. A few things from IFEC side, reimagining the accountant, or you say future fit, is a big theme that is running, and it's very critical and core to the strategy of the Professional Accountants in Business Committee. We've also spent time looking at a lot of research, a lot of analysis. We've spoken to a lot of stakeholders, be it investors, be it CEOs like myself, be it research agencies, be it investors, be it also regulators and various stakeholders. And we've also spent a lot of time with recruiters, because recruiters know, what competencies is really being required. I have a few things to share. The Future of Jobs report, which came out in 2018, clearly indicates that by 2022, which is not far away from us, about 75 million jobs will be displaced. Ironically, accountants and auditors are amongst those whose jobs will be displaced. And these are accountants and auditors who do not learn how to be future fit. The good news is that the same report talks that by 2022, there will be 133 million new jobs that will be created. And these are jobs that will require a very different way of thinking. It will require extreme technical skills, but it will require relationship skills, decision-making skills, thinking business skills, all the different things that, CAJG and the president and Niharji spoke about. So it's very critical for the accountants who are listening to us at the moment to understand that their way of thinking at the moment, which is very limited if you're just thinking technical is a way to future, that's going to be outdated, and that's what is largely going to move to machines. I know the president, very passionately, always when I talk to him, talks about how much is going to become, how much of our jobs are going to be driven by technology. And I can tell you by 2023, 68% of what we are doing today is going to be done by machines. So ask yourself a question. What is it that you will do differently? And I think that's where the question comes. Now, fortunately, about 3 months ago in the month of March, the IFEC took time to speak to two of the biggest recruiters who are doing talent management in the world. And these are Spencer Stewart and F.J. Wilson. It was very interesting that a lot of their insights, to some extent, were very aligned to the kind of discussions we are having. But one interesting thing that came out of that discussion is really that there is a chronic shortage, and I want to repeat this word, there is a chronic shortage of accountants and finance professionals who know how to lead the business, who know how to engage in the business, who know how business works. They know technical terms, they know IFRS, they know IS, they know tax matters, but they do not know business. So how do you change this chronic shortage? And I think ICAI is really putting up a lot of effort. So I'll not repeat what you have said individually, but few things that are very critical for us to know, and I'm going to add to that. One is this thing called, there is a new concept called glocal. Glocal is a combination of global and local. So it is your ability to have a lot much more local context, but with a global mindset. More and more, the world is interconnected. And I think Corona has taught us that what happens somewhere can easily happen to us, and can not only happen to us, but can completely change our lives. So it's a good time to reflect and say, how do we become much more local? The second area is really around high level of cognitive skills. And this is really around thinking and problem solving. It is a very critical aspect of our jobs. It's a very critical aspect of our living. If we cannot solve problems, then really we're going to be redundant pretty quick. The third area, and I really want to encourage this, and I think the president is really a role model in this, is really the whole concept of collaboration and relationship building. It's very critical. By nature, the Indian subcontinent, and we're talking about India, by nature, we are born with relationships in our lives. So how do we take these relationships in our life not to be comfort relationship, but really strategic relationships? If at any given point of time, and I want to quote this because I work with a lot of youth, if at any given point of time you do not have three relations that constantly challenge you about your professional capacity, your leadership capacity, and then you're really falling short of becoming future fit. So constantly look for new relationships that are going to enable you to shift your mindset and have a big growth mindset. The second area that I want to touch about is really, I know that we talked about me being a CEO. So I can also tell you that because I was a CFO for 2 decades, 20 years, I've done different roles. I also was the head of shared services once in India. This is leading the global shared services of finance based in Chennai, which was a very exciting job, actually, and I learned a lot. But one of the things that I never learned was, enough of the business one side. Now that I've moved to the CEO's role, where I was being very bold, and I always used to think that, accountants are is the best profession. I think accountants is absolutely, I want to restate, is absolutely the best profession, but when you connect it with business in our mindset. So a couple of things from my side, that are very critical is this whole concept of entrepreneurial skill. What is the magic behind the numbers? Ask yourself this question day in, day out. What does this number mean in terms of business? A lot of us are very poor in communication. We use IFRS, we use regulations and quote them and say, as per this standard, you're supposed to do this. Tell me in this world, who understands that language? So become individuals and leaders who can communicate to your stakeholders so that they appreciate your roles and what the professional brings. This will require culture, and shifting a culture really requires the institution to champion this. So once again, President, I'm really honored to be speaking to you all because I'm very pleased that you as an institution are championing this. This whole enrichment program is not a joke. It's a big commitment and it's a massive commitment. And I know that you're not just leaving this to students in India. Just a few weeks ago, we spoke to a lot of students in East Africa and I was part of that call. So it's really extending it to the 40,000 chartered accountants that sit across the world. Also, for everybody on this call, just want to say that 10% of the accountants in the world come from one country, and that is India. So the strength and the capacity and the competency that the Indian Institute has, if you elevate your students or your members to become future fit, is going to give exponential return to not only the Indian subcontinent from driving the economy, but much more from a global context. And I think just reflecting on those recruiters that we're talking to, talent services agencies, I think India has a huge strength to become drivers of exponential growth if we take accountants as part of the system. I was also very fortunate to have visited Niti Aayog. A couple of years ago, I met Honorable Modi ji, and I went to Niti Aayog. They are actually driving the 17 sectors of growth and economy. And if you add an accountant to that equation in all those pillars, 17 pillars, whether it is cognitive thinking, whether it is becoming really much more drivers of digital, because they all are looking at numbers. The more we can help them to interpret those numbers from an economic impact perspective, it's going to be magical. So I just want to say to everybody that your future is in your head, in your hands. The future belongs to people who can continue to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because as time goes, there's a lot of things that we have learned, we need to unlearn. I think statistically, we have learned that if you're doing an engineering program of 4 years, what you learn in your first year is actually outdated by the time you learn your fourth year. So you can imagine engineers have this constant thinking. Likewise, our profession is also changing. So we just need to build that competency. So once again, this enrichment program is very critical. I know, Atulji, you haven't spoken in your speech today that you're also trying to do a very significant modeling of this whole competency grid around accountants. I'm sure soon a lot of your candidates will be very excited, but I think this journey is great. Today I was chatting to a friend of mine who actually did chartered accountancy with me in India, Uday Shah. He's on the call. He will remember that we had so much struggle to use the old chartered accountancy that we used to learn from a technical context to connect it with business. That's why I said I had to go through 7 different organizations to become future fit. It's much more easy to serve to you. I want to really end my speech with a poem that hit me when I was in India, being very young. And this is really from one of our best poets called Rabindranath Tagore. And I want to say, this is what he said, and it's very small. It says, everything comes to us that belongs to us. Everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. If we create the capacity to receive it. I think everything that you are driving as the institute will belong to the students if they create the capacity to receive it, which means that every individual needs to take self-responsibility for learning, developing, and growing. That means becoming future fit. With those few remarks, I want to wish you and the institution a lot of success. To all my fellow professionals and students listening to this program, to say, life belongs to you. Take it in your hand and make the most out of it. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. I am sure, my dear friends, you all will agree that he has motivated all of us, students as well as us, every one of us. He had been so humble when he said that, I am here to tell the truth. And Sanjay ji, it is a fact, whenever an Indian goes to Africa, he talks about truth. That has been in past also. We have seen that. And now, many years back, an Indian went to Africa, he talked about truth. People followed him and they were benefited. Now there is a second chance. We have another Indian who is in Africa today. He has talked about truth. And if the students will follow what he said, I am sure they are going to be immensely benefited. And thank you very much, for recognizing our institute as one organization which can provide the benefit of 7 organizations. And talking about this CFO to CEO things, really wonderful to listen to from you. 75 million jobs moving out the thread and 130 millions created, an opportunity. Sir, you really very well covered the collaboration and the strategic relationship building, decision making, problem solving, entrepreneurial skills. And the best thing is, it is the Student Skills Enrichment Board which has to look into this particular aspect. We have learned a lot from you, and I'm sure that SSCB is going to cover all these aspects in our programs. And one of the best things to talk about, the number crunching, it should be with reference to business and economy. And I'm sure from 10% in the world, we are going to soon become 20%. India has the potential to create such wonderful people. And now, friends, let me take you through the presentation on the industrial training portal, which is the purpose why we have been here today. So let me come to that portal. I think admin has to give me screen sharing rights. Or Mitali ji, if you can start with the presentation. Either you have to give me the right, or better you can start with the presentation.
जय भाई आप होस्ट हो गए हैं. Now you are the host.
I think it's not working with me. Screen is there.
क्या भाई अभी आ रहा है?
I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay. So let me start with this industrial portal, and with the help of this presentation, give you a quick view of it. Industrial training is covered by Regulation 51 of our ICAI and is a part of articleship. A student can apply for various industry in the last year of their articleship, and by way of going for this industrial training, he can get the idea of the industrial, commercial, and financial environment, and that will definitely help him to develop a problem-solving attitude, as Sanjay ji was talking about. Now, how to get started? To start with articleship, an industrial training placement platform, please visit this website, https, that is app.ici.org. Here you can start with the industrial training placements. Companies, chartered accountancy firms, and students registered with ICAI are eligible for articleship as well as industrial training portals. They can register here. Now, regarding companies have to register on the portal. They have to fill in the information regarding the members' details, upload all the necessary documents, save and submit the online form for approval to SSCB, and after verification of documents, company get registered with ICAI to impart industrial training. So friends, the company will have to come and register on the portal, fill in the details, and immediately the SSCB will verify the documents and get them registered. So what is the process? Just look at the process. The process is too simple. The company will have to register, or the CA firm will have to register, because this portal takes care of articleship also as well as industrial training also. Second is the administrator will approve it, and once it is approved, the company or the firm will be in a position to post the vacancies. Once the vacancies are posted, the candidates, that is the students who are willing to come forward, take forward industrial training, they can search through this particular portal, and on the basis of that, that is once the companies will search for the candidates, because the students who have already enrolled themselves through the SSP portal for this particular industrial portal, they will be there on the portal, and the companies can have a search for the candidates and they can shortlist the candidates. Once the candidates are shortlisted, there will be an interview. That is the point number 6, as you can see on the screen. And once the interviews are scheduled, the interviews will take place. That also can be done through this portal. And finally, the updation will take place. This is from the point of view of the company. So these are 8 steps. The company will be registered, administrator will approve it. Then there will be a posting of vacancy by the company. They will search for the candidates. They will shortlist. Then there will be an interview scheduled. Final interview will take place, and the vacancy will be updated. This is from the company's perspective. Now, students do not require to register, since the portal auto-fetches student details from the ICAI SSP portal. Well, students, you don't know very well that today we have SSP portal where you all are registered. So you do not require separate registration for this industrial training portal. The data will be fetched from that portal itself. So it is online registration for the students. Now let us look at how the process for the students work. We have seen the process, how it works for the company. So here for students, number 1 is student login. Now regarding login, you can do it from the SSP portal. You are already a part of SSP. Through that, you can log in. The student can search for the vacancies. That is the second part, and view the invites. From this search, they will come to know the various companies which are offering the industrial training. On the basis of that, they can select and apply to the companies. Once the companies accept their application, they will accept the interview. The students will accept the interview and then attend the interview. Once the interview takes place, then the company will take a decision. These are the 7 steps for the students. I'll repeat very quickly. Student login is there. Once they log in, they can search for the vacancies. They can view what are the invites of the companies. They can apply and accept the interviews wherever they apply. And finally, they attend the interview. So the process is very simple. Now that does mean for the companies as well as the students, it's a very, very simple procedure that they have to follow. and that is what is about the industrial portal. So, friends, this is in nutshell what exactly industrial portal is about. Well, I'm sure you must have got the clear idea as to what this industrial portal is about, and it is a single stop solution for the companies as well as the students. So this was about the industrial portal. There are a number of advantages that the companies will have because of this portal. The advantages for the companies would be the companies get the authenticated information about the students. It will be a seamless, paperless online registration and no redundancy in case of data. Okay. No redundancy in terms of data. Consent from the students within 48 hours. So it is going to be very fast for you. There is going to be regular updation of records. And finally, as I have already discussed, it is well integrated with the SSP portal, which reduces any efforts from either of the sides. And the online approval of companies by the Board of Studies in 1 or 2 days. These are the benefits to the company. And for the students, naturally, it is going to. It is very user-friendly. The interface is very simple. So I think this is what is industrial portal. Now, I would request our Vice Chairman of the Board, CA Pramod Kumar Bhupji, to take care of the question answer session. I am sure this is a very important day for the students. They must be anxious to understand regarding the industrial portal as well as the other aspects related to the students. And a number of queries have been posted by the students. Pramodji, if you can look into all the various questions and the questions which are pertaining to the Student Skills Enrichment Board, kindly take up the questions and one by one, all the people will be answering that. Sir.
Thank you, Chairman Jayacharya sir, for taking us and walking us through this whole industrial training portal. Respected President sir, Vice President sir, Guest of Honor Sanjay ji, and my dear students, or I can say cheerful people. You know, cheerful people are like sunlight. They shine into all corners of heart and offer bright morning and fresh hopes. So good evening to all such cheerful people. Well, friends, you will understand and appreciate that this article placement and industrial training portal will be a platform to provide opportunity to both students and companies to interact each other for selection of company vis-a-vis students. This portal will showcase a number of students eligible for enrollment as well as members available for imparting training to them. It will also show the details of companies registered region-wise, specialization-wise, and number of vacancies available. The portal will intimate the students well in advance through the system about their eligibility for industrial training via emails and SMS, and this will provide online approval to industries also who intend to impart industrial training to CA aspirants as per our Chartered Accountant regulations. Well, you are very correct, Jay sir. We have received a plethora of questions, large number of questions, and I've tried to combine them under a few subheadings. So there were, of course, many repetitions also. So let us begin with this question answer session. Few questions relate to what very rightly President sir said, aptitude, attitude determining the altitude. And of course, few questions relate to few points from Sanjay ji's speech, wherein said how to convert the threats into opportunities, and this extreme thinking skill, the differently thinking skill, the global, where we have to be global, we should have global mindset and local contacts. So Atulji, first question, I think you will be able to address it in a very best manner. Question says, why is there a need for practical training?
Pramodji, I believe that in the first half of our deliberation, the entire discussion was on this topic only, that why the need of the training is there. Since the students are asking this question, so I just give a brief answer. That my dear students, you are aware that as initiated the preamble even by Jai Bhai, that normally when you are doing a professional qualification or any other qualification, what is important that once you will qualify, you become the employable, you become the useful, you will become an accomplished kind of a personality which can serve the society and the various stakeholders. Now, normally what we can see that when we are doing the one or the other course, you are qualifying and then you are doing a training kind of a, that the initiation of your job. And in the initial year, as rightly mentioned by Sanjay ji, that he has to serve the seven, like somebody has to serve a 7 company to become I will say the future ready, a person who can become the CEO. Now, when somebody is doing the CA course and is only and only doing a rota learning, rather than the right word is being used by the ICAI, is the outcome learning approach. That you don't have any outcome learning approach. 3 Idiot movie के अंदर एक बात कही गई थी कि सफलता के पीछे मत भागिए, आप जो है कैपेबिलिटीज के ऊपर भागिए, काबिलियत की बात करिए. तो जिस काबिलियत की बात अगर हम लोग करना चाहते हैं, जिस कैपेबिलिटीज की बात हम करना चाहते हैं, कॉम्पिटेंस की बात हम करना चाहते हैं, वो हमें मिलती है जब हमारे को प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर मिलता है, जब हम लोग जो है वो प्रैक्टिकली किसी चीज को डील करते हैं, किसी सिचुएशन को डील करते हैं. तो खाली रोटा लर्निंग करने से आपने मगिंग किया, एग्जाम क्वालिफाई किया, इवन केस स्टडी के बेस पे आपने थोड़ा सा एनालिसिस पार्ट को हैंडल किया, लेकिन इफ यू डोंट हैव द प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर ऑफ द थिंग्स, then practically you will not be a accomplished person, that is a fully future ready person, a professional who will be able to serve the stakeholders. So that's why the ICAI is the unique organization. I can say you that in the all the at the India level and even at the global level, that one of the finest organization which have stick to this situation, that there will be a 3 years rigorous training for our students who are pursuing the chartered accountancy course. We have the other professional bodies who are even taking this after the qualification or something like that. But the soul and the, I will say, the spine of this entire course is something, the articleship training, this 3 years training, which make us accomplished professional. So that's why this training is very, very important. And even I can tell you that the students who are pursuing this training rigorously with, I will say, all the sincerity, they are becoming much better professionals as compared to the students who are taking this training leniently. I just give you an example that please try to understand why this training is required and why the that kind of acumen, that kind of attitude is required, that getting built up in the training. That I used to give an example in normal programs but I will take 2 minutes here. That say for example, the Jai Bhai on a one day requested his 2 articles A and B, that I have to give a presentation tomorrow on the AS22, that is taxation part. Now because we are living in an era of Facebook, WhatsApp and all the Twitter and all these things. So what happened, the A immediately after 15 minutes brought that presentation to Jai Bhai, that now sir presentation is available and this is for you. But we could not come back even till the late evening, and Jai Bhai was very furious that okay, tomorrow I will fire this gentleman because he is like always giving so much time and he is not abiding my instructions. But at 11 o'clock in the night, the Jai Bhai received a twinkle email on his email box, wherein not only the B shared the presentation but also customized the presentation based on the client data. Now tell me, whenever there will be an important task, Jai Bhai will have, to whom he will delegate, whether to A or B, certainly to Mr. B. And in that sense, what will happen, that gradually, the Jai Bhai and B will work together on the qualitative part, and we will get the automatically that kind of exposure, experience, analytical abilities to become a successful professional the moment he will qualify the examination. So what I am trying to convey you, that to learn to enter into the shoe of other, to have that kind of accountability, maturity, responsibility, and the exposure, the environment and under which you are going to work. That tomorrow you will become a chartered accountant and suddenly you will be signing a balance sheet or you will be presenting yourself before a company. How you will be able to showcase yourself, how you will be like a future ready, which the future fit, which Sanjay ji mentioned in his entire discussion, is something that we can have through this training only. And that's why the training along with the industrial training, which we are creating an environment for our students, that okay, you can go for a 3 years training or you may have a couple of the mix of the training vis-a-vis the industrial training, which will make you a future fit professional, for which this 133 million jobs which the Sanjay ji was talking about will be there for all of you to excel in your life.
Thank you, sir. Vice President, sir, a very good question here, analytical question. Do the articles need industrial exposure to be successful?
I think this is a similar question which President has just now already answered, but I may add one or two things. The initial answer is yes, they do need industrial exposure. And when we talk of industrial exposure in terms of the expansion of scope of industrial training that we are recommending, I think it is not confined to industry, but it could be in even any information technology company. It could be in any trading concern. But I may probably modify the question whether articles need exposure to business. And this exposure comes even while we do articleship for say 2 years, and last year we opt for industrial training. And let us understand what is the difference between the two. When we have interaction with the client as a part of CA firm, when we are doing articleship, whether as a statutory auditor or as an internal auditor, or while giving tax services, whether direct or indirect, or even any consultancy, we are talking to the client as an outsider. Although we try to understand the business of the client in as much detail as possible, the real understanding comes when you become part of the organization, start working from the other side of the table. That gives you a lot of insight. And when you work like that, you really understand what are the ins and outs of business and what are their real issues and problems and how to address them. So in my opinion, industrial training is necessary. It is required for article students. Even one more point I would like to add. See, the communication skill among the peers when you work in an industry, it requires different kind of skill sets, as different from what you require when you work as an article trainee. So even it gives exposure there also, a different kind of skill set for communication. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sanjay ji, in continuation to what Atul ji and Nihar ji said, would you like to add the question in this way? In what way industrial training will enhance the quality of the profession? You have been, you have taken the articleship also. You are heading the recruitment group also. Of course, now you are CFO. So, how this industrial training will enhance the quality of the profession?
Good. So first of all, I must say that I have very limited knowledge based on what I have received. But when I was going through the presentations on the content of what's going to be covered, I recognized very interesting themes that came out. So number one was that the learning is going to allow candidates towards bright opportunities, and it talks about specialized exercises and exposures, which also includes understanding management accounting, which in its own it's a very different theme. this is where you really connect to the business. It allows candidates to look at concepts of cost accounting. In this day and era, we're all struggling with cost accounting and real cash flow management. It also is taking the candidates towards the whole concept of significant MIS, which is utilization of data. Accountants today use less than 0.5% of the global data that's created. Imagine if we just shifted that to 5%. So really, this specialized learning is going to create, this industrial learning is going to allow candidates to use much more data towards real business. I also recognize that it allows candidates to participate in very important concepts of, corporate law, taxation, the whole secretarial practice, which on its own is critical because it links to communication. So really, my addition is, why would you lose this 9 to 12 month opportunity and not just go for it, where you become much more future ready in a very limited space? If I was a student. So I just want to add is that it's like, your document says it's a bright opportunity. I think it's a very bright opportunity and students must leverage on it. I hope that works.
Thank you. Jay sir, a few technical questions. Who is eligible to undergo industrial training?
Any student who has passed intermediate examination and is in the last year of articleship. Passing of intermediate examination is requirement, and he should be in the last year of articleship. Then he can join this industrial training.
Okay. And in continuation to these, sir, two questions more. How many days before should the article inform the principal about the industrial training? And in continuation, what is the duration of industrial training?
Okay, I'll give the first answer, the second one. The duration of industrial training as of now is 9 months to 12 months. Student can do industrial training from 9 months to 12 months. And regarding when he should inform the employer, minimum 3 months. Minimum 3 months of, we can say, a notice to the employer that he intends to go for industrial training is what is required.
Okay. President sir, again, this is an eligibility criteria question. What is the eligibility criteria of the companies who will be enrolling themselves on this industrial training portal?
Very simple, simply speaking, Pramodji, that the company is having a turnover of more than 10 crore of rupees with other criteria like they may be having a 50 lakhs paid up capital and so. But I will say the most important criteria is that the turnover of the company should be more than 10 crore of rupees. They can have the eligibility to train and have an article as the industrial training. And apart from that, there should be a chartered accountant in that particular company under with whom this training will be there as well.
Okay. This was regarding eligibility criteria of company. Nihar sir, then one more question, good question. What is the prerequisite of a member who can employ industrial training?
Within the approved organization, a member who is an associate with at least 3 years standing can train one article student as industrial training, and if he has got more than 5 years of exposure, he is an associate for 5 years and has become fellow, then he can train 2 industrial trainees. And form number 104 is required to be filled for registering, and form number 105 is a certificate that the member has to give to the student for completion of articleship training. Industrial
Thank you,
training.
sir. Thank you, sir. Jay sir, mix of attitude and aptitude. Does a student need to hunt for companies regarding the jobs available?
The answer is too simple. Because he earlier had to hunt the companies. That's why we came up with this industrial portal. Now his hunt is over. It is a one-stop solution for all the students. I think it's so simple.
So in that case, President sir, just elaborate in detail, sir, what your vision was? Because one of the question also relates to that vision only. What is the advantage, the real impact and advantage of this portal for students? There are so many job portals also and various other parts also. What was the real advantage behind bringing out this portal?
Pramodji, thank you, Pramodji, for this question, and to all my viewers here, that by bringing this portal, number one, that this will be an official portal of the ICAI, because sometimes the students are pursuing, they are searching for the industrial training facilities available at the market level, that various websites, that various portals are there, and they are trying to search out. And the same way, the companies are trying to put their requirements or the various branches, regional council, or the council notice board, that they have this kind of a vacancies are there. By having this kind of a portal available at the ICI level, what will happen? This will be a single platform available, which is an official platform available. Number one. Number two, that this platform will ensure that only the eligible companies and the eligible students only will be getting registered on this portal. So what will happen? There will be, as we shared, that there will be a requirement of a minimum threshold of turnover. You should have a chartered accountant working in your company. Then only you are eligible to register on this portal and to take the students for the industrial training. Same way, the students who through the SSP portal, because their data will be coming from the portal itself. So the students will be eligible to register only when they are eligible. They are in the last year of their training. They have the only the maximum, like minimum 12 months training is pending, and then they have qualified the intermediate examination. Then only they will be eligible to register. So one way that this will create an ecosystem, which is a well scrutinized ecosystem, well authenticated ecosystem, and at the same time, everybody need not to go to various different portals and the different way of attracting the talents in their company. And this will be a easier solution for everybody being explained by Jai Bhai. I believe that this was the question only. You have to unmute yourself.
Looking to this motivational and inspirational addresses, I think few suggestions have also come saying that ICAI should provide a platform to all those students who also want to do industrial training even after completion of 3 years of articleship. So that is also a suggestion coming from.
And all the suggestions are welcome, because we are here to serve our students to see that they are becoming the budding chartered accountants. They are becoming the more powerful, future fit chartered accountants. So we can always think that this kind of a facility can be created by the ICAI. Certainly, this will not be under the regulation which the Jai Bhai explained that okay will be there, but it will be a add-on services from the ICAI to serve our dear students.
Thank you, sir. And here, sir, a student is asking, he is confused whether to go for industrial training or go for articleship. On one hand, he wants a simple articleship where he can focus also on studies and where the work is less. At the same time, he wants to join industrial training also. So what is the basic difference, and how should he cope up with this confusion? He wants guidance.
Unmute, sir.
The student is confused between continuing with articleship, which may probably provide him longer time to study, and between the industrial training, where probably he may have to put some mandatory hours of training. I think if a student is thinking that by continuing in articleship, he will get more time for studies, probably he is opting to compromise in the training aspect. And according to me, a student, particularly in final CA, would clear it faster if he has more practical exposure, because that only gives you insight on how to apply your mind on a practical question, which is the approach at final level. So I would think, see, if he has already done 2 years of articleship, cleared intermediate, and there is an opportunity to go for industrial training, I would personally opt for industrial training and have that insight and exposure. And I would not compromise on practical training at all. But then it all depends on what he wants to pursue in future, and he can then take decision. But industrial exposure would give excellent insight into how businesses are run and what are the opportunities, how to address problems, how to create MIS. It will give a different kind of exposure. Sanjay ji wants to add something.
Yes, Sanjay ji.
No, I I must tell you, having joined IFAC has given me a much more insight on studies and education and learning, and to what extent is competency being built. So when you finish your chartered accountancy with the technical education you have, unfortunately, I'm going to give some bad news to students that you're actually only prepared 15% of your real life. It's when you start doing industrial learning, getting to understand real business, is when you're strengthening yourself. Now, the good news is that whatever it took you for the whole life to build your 15%, the exponential learning, industrial learning can give you 30% very fast or 50% very fast. If I was a CEO or if I was a big CFO and trying to recruit candidates for the future, my first place to go and recruit them will now be students who have done industrial learning. The second thing is, if I even understand, how the recruitment firms will start looking at accountants for the future, for the future-ready, workforce, then this is going to be a very big opportunity for the recruiters to look at. So just some additional from a business context from my side. Thank you.
Atulji, Prasanna, you want to add something? You are on mute, sir. You are on mute.
Very important to add here that the students has also a very, very important point to consider, that what is their goal in their professional life. So few students will be there who are into that I have to go to the practice only. So and some students will be looking towards the industry. As I mentioned, as I updated you like in the initial discussion, that right now the students who are qualifying the CA examinations, 80% of them are going towards the industry. So in case a student is going have a vision to join the industry, it will be a very important contribution, or I will say the value add into their personality, that if they will go for an industrial training. Yes, industrial training is useful for both the cases, whether you are going in the industry or you are going for a practice. But it will be more useful when you are going into the industry, that you have a vision to join the industry. Because at times, I just wish to share with you, the students who will be joining the industrial training, majority of the cases, the moment they will qualify the examination, they will get their, I will say, absorbed in that same company itself, rather than they will be looking for a campus placement. Because there will be a 1 year, I will say, the interaction among the peers and the colleagues in the company in which they are working, and they all will have that kind of a familiarity, I will say, the understanding, the relationship, they working in the environment of that particular company. So it will be much easier for you in case you are looking for joining the industry and you are getting a good industrial training opportunity in a relatively good company, that you will automatically get absorbed in that environment once you will qualify as a chartered accountant.
Thank you so much. Jayji, if you want to add in this, along with one more question, you can add on this question and then start answering this again, a fresh question. Student says, I want to begin afresh. Whatever I was, whatever marks I got in 12, how was my score? What was my scoring in graduation? Leave aside all those things. Now that I want to enter into my articleship, and today is my first day of articleship. For coming 3 years, I'll be doing either articleship or industrial training or a combination. Now, what kind of skills should I possess before I step into this professional office environment?
This is actually a very important and very interesting question, and I'll only dwell on that because on the previous question, all our learned colleagues, President, Vice President, sir, and Sanjay, everybody has dealt on this very, very well. So, see, now this is mandatory for each and every student. What you have done up to your school level or whatever your academic you have done, forget it, put it. Past is past. When you come for articleship, you are a fresh person. First and foremost thing what you require is a very positive mindset. From day one, you should be very, very, very clear that this is a great opportunity. If you had to be a swimmer, you are going to a swimming pool. Right? By reading books, you are not going to be a swimmer. This is a great opportunity. You are going to a particular office where you are going to learn the skill set about your own profession. So first, the mindset has to be very, very, very positive. Second, of course, with the passage of time, you will learn certain skills, the basic skills. Of course, you require some basic communication skills. You require basic presentation skills. That, of course, will sharpen with the course of articleship. At the same time, your presentability. We do not, focus much more on your attire from the very beginning. But of course, when you are going to office, you should understand the office culture. You should dress up accordingly. But according to me, the most crucial thing is you should go with a very positive mindset that this is what is going to enrich me. This is going to make me a wonderful professional. So the positive mindset for articleship is the only requirement. That is what I believe.
Thank you, sir.
Sanjay,
yes, Sanjay ji, please.
I think that's a very nice question, by the way, by whoever asked. So a few other things that you need to bring as you come to the office, and in today's day and age, which is important, is this whole mindset of curiosity. When you step into any organization, the biggest mistake you'll make is that you know it all. You really need to become like a sponge and suck whatever is possible. Remember, in today's day and age, and our profession is very connected to the concept of trust. So integrity is very critical. The third thing I would say is, especially with a lot of youth there, accountancy is a little bit more flexible than it used to be in my days. But you still need to have an operating rhythm. There is a discipline to the learning and commitment, because it still has a lot of statutory boundaries, regulatory boundaries. There are timelines that you have in terms of your reporting requirements. The fourth thing I would say is really be driven by technology in your mind, because it's going to be a huge asset to growth. Lastly, is really about relationships. Relationship between numbers and real business. Relationship between people and people. Relationship as stakeholders. Relationship with the world, like I said, global. So those are very basic things that you need to come with. I think this is a necessity in most of the jobs nowadays, but much more from an accountancy perspective. Just want to leave with one more thought, that globally at the moment, with the 175 accountancy bodies that we are talking about, we are shy of about 4 million accountants in total who are professionally qualified. Now, with the era of technology and fintech, there is more than 1 million new businesses that are opening up. Even during COVID-19, there are so many new businesses. Very soon in time, there could be rules around that most of the audits are only, or accountants should be qualified accountants. In many jurisdictions, that is happening because there's also been a lot of fraud, etc. So I think, if you look at it from a professional perspective and growth perspective, this is the best time for accountancy. It is absolutely the best time for accountancy. And I think adding the concepts of industrial learning is just going to be an add-on boost. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Atul ji, a very relevant question, and especially because you also hail from coming from small city background. This student is asking, sir, is this true? Are there greater prospects of creating a better career if you come from a metro city rather than you coming from a small city, and plus, whether both from taking career point of view also, whether creating a better career in metro city is better as a chartered accountant than coming or being in a small city?
इसका आंसर थोड़ा बड़ा है क्योंकि ये एक तरह से ऑटोबायोग्राफी वाली सिचुएशन है कि मैं सिर्फ आपको यही कह सकता हूँ कि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता है दोस्तों। एंड जब हम स्टूडेंट्स थे और मेरे हिसाब से जितने भी लोग बैठे हैं यहाँ पर, सभी लोग जो हैं वो सब लोअर मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से बिलोंग करते रहे हैं। उतनी फैसिलिटीज नहीं होती हैं, उतना सब कुछ लाइफ में अवेलेबल नहीं होता है। और इवन मैं तो ये कहूँगा कि जिनके पास कुछ नहीं होता है वो लोग ज्यादा एक्सेल करते हैं, क्योंकि जो जरूरत जो होती है वो कर्म की जननी होती है। तो द मोमेंट if you have less you will work harder, and if you have more you will be more like a bit relaxed that okay, I have all the facilities and the resources available. The point is that how you will become successful, whether you are living in a metro city or in a smaller city, that doesn't matter. What matter is that two personality traits which I followed in my life, and I just wish to share with you here. One aspect I shared in my initial discussion, that is something it is not the aptitude but the attitude. And what kind of attitude I was talking about, and I am just sharing with you, that the attitude of accountability, the responsibility, the maturity, that whatever you are doing, you understand what you are doing. You understand your responsibility, your accountability. You are entering into the shoe of other and understanding what is exactly your other person with whom you are communicating is expecting from you. So in case, as I mentioned you, that we given an example, that the Jai was looking for a presentation which suits to the client. So in case you are working in an office, you are dealing with a client, you are even dealing with your family members, or even dealing with your friend, or even to your boss, or to your employer. If you understand what is exactly he is looking for, and you will rise yourself to that expectations, whether you are living in a small city or you are living in a metro, hardly makes any difference. Even you will be judged based on your commitment level. So at times you can see in your office itself, like you are working as an article, or you are like maybe you have completed your articleship training, or even the chartered accountant who is listening this, that you will see that around you there are the guys who are being liked more as compared to the guys who are not liked, who are liked less. Why this is a situation? Because there is the level of a commitment, the dedication, that whatever you will say, that he will follow or she will follow, and they will do the needful as what is desired, what is required. Number two, that you have to see that there is a time has gone when you are working like a single window, meaning thereby the jack of all. You have to be a master of one. So if you have the specialization over the generalization, you are the expert of one topic on which you can speak, on which you can share your thoughts, on which you can give the analytical views, interpretational views, then certainly you will be much respected as compared to a normal person who is the jack of all rather than the master of one. You please see, we have the n number of examples available in our profession. Maybe it is Girish Ahuja ji or maybe anybody else who is respected because of his professional expertise on a one topic, and he is being like a. So what we have to do, that rather than living in this kind of I will say the dilemma that we are from the smaller city or he is from the larger city, you have to see that what kind of capabilities you carry with you within yourself as a specialized person, and whether your name is there in the list of the specialist. So your name may be in the 20th number, your name may be on the 100th number, but whenever somebody is thinking about that topic, for example, somebody is thinking about the service tax, so your name should be there in that list of 100, 20, 50, maybe 200 list, that okay, somebody is there and that who can serve, who can provide me this kind of a support. So that kind of a passion, that kind of a commitment, like somebody, I will say, एक सेल्फ मोटिवेशन वाली बात कह रहा हूँ आप लोगों की, अगर आप जमीन में जोर से पैर मारे तो पानी निकल जाए, पत्थर में से पानी निकाल दे. So that kind of a passion is there. In case you have that kind of a maturity in your behavior, you have expertise on a particular topic, then hardly makes any difference. You are from a middle class family, below middle class family, you are from a rural background, you are from the urban background, hardly makes any difference. Even the language barrier will not be there, because at times the students will feel that I am not able to speak in English, or he can speak in English, so he will be superior than me. I can tell you, I'm from a Hindi medium. I'm a Hindi medium student. I studied in a school where we were paying only 2 rupees, 10 paisa till the 12th class, and practically speaking, we were sitting on the floor, taking our own जो दरी होती है वो अपनी दरी हम खुद लेके जाते थे और वो जमीन में बैठते थे साहब और उसके बावजूद भी I can so this is something that you have to gradually master to reach to that situation that you are excelling more than the student who is from the metro. So this is from my side to all my viewers. Unmute करिए sir, unmute करिए जय भाई.
Same addition to what President says, sir. You would like to add something. One more thing. The student says, I am from a small village background. Now, I've heard you saying aptitude and attitude giving me altitude. So please advise me and guide me how coming from a small town help me to what kind of aptitude and attitude is required for me to gain this altitude of getting selected into by the concerned companies for industrial training part.
मैं आंसर दूं या कोई और आंसर दे रहे?
As Nihar sir, then you can add sir.
ठीक है, नहीं Nihar sir.
No, even if you are coming from a small village, see, when if these companies interview you, and if I have to interview, because I have seen many interviews, held many interviews, I would look at the willingness of a person to learn, because see, here we are to train them and not to expect that they will work for me like a bonded labor. On the contrary, see, I would rather feel happy that if I am able to train somebody coming from a small village, and he becomes employable, he becomes capable. If it is given to me, I would like to see what is the willingness of the student to come up, learn, take up a job. I would not see at that stage what is his exposure of the past 2 years. And if that willingness is there, I would take him. So a student need not worry. When you appear for the interview, you have to show your willingness. Use entire experience that you had in the 2 years and show to the company that you are willing to learn, you want to come up. The company would be prepared to take you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Jay sir, student is asking how much stipend will be paid in industrial training?
Well, regarding the stipend, while the basic minimum as of now has been something like 2,500 or 3,000, but most of the industries are paying somewhere in the range of 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. So stipend is quite good with industrial training. Something like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, depending upon cities and depending upon companies, the stipend is there.
One question, not specifically relating to industrial training. It says, what criteria of completing MCS and advanced ITT course under virtual mode? If we can answer here also.
Yeah. I think regarding this,
I think I'll answer it. I think after the end of each session of 1 hour, there is an objective type online test, and 50% marks are mandatory for clearing that test. In case student is not able to clear that online test, student will have to appear in test again, and then the certificate will be issued only after the student clears the entire test. Jay sir, one good question. It says, I am a student who has cleared CA final exam by giving groups separately, and I am having industrial training background. Will this type of scenario be beneficial then passing both groups at one attempt and not having any industrial background if I want to go into industry, if I want to go into corporate sector?
I'll give a very simple answer. to the student who has asked this question, because many students have such type of questions. Students, tell me one thing, all the people sitting here, including the President ICAI, Vice President ICAI, or I or Pramod ji, have you ever asked whether we cleared one group or we cleared both the groups? Once you clear CA and once you are a professional, ultimately what matters is your skill sets, your attitude, right? So it is not relevant whether you clear one group or you cleared in first attempt or you have two groups. If you get an opportunity to go for industrial training, I believe it is a very good opportunity. You should definitely grab it. That is what is my belief.
Thank you. Atulji, you wanted to add into that particular aptitude and attitude requiring the altitude to enter into industrial training by a student from a small background, small and medium background.
Marmoji, when the Honorable Vice Presidents are sharing that exactly that we are looking the talent, we are looking the eagerness to learn, and that is exactly I was supposed to share with you that when somebody is saying that I am from a rural background or I am not from the metro or something, and then how the industrial training, again, as we discussed and I shared with you that ultimately what we are looking from, that in case the company will see that this person is a go-getter, he will be having that kind of a eagerness to learn, and that person will be able to understand and he will act as with that kind of a maturity I'm looking for. So whether it is there from like in A or B, whether A is from metro or B is from the non-metro, hardly makes any difference. They are looking for the talent, they are looking for the eagerness to learn, they are looking for the future, that okay, how this person will be able to contribute. So the companies are not recruiting somebody even for the industrial training only for 11 months or something is 12 months. They are looking for a future ready professional, that the moment he will qualify the CA examination and he is there with me for 1 year, I will be able to absorb him and then he will be able to contribute for a little longer period in my organization. So that kind of a mindset will be there, and whether this person will be able to contribute for that longer period, for that kind of a zeal and commitment and a dedication, then automatically the company will be looking to hire that person, and hardly makes any difference that okay, he is from the metro or a non-metro. Same way, I will say what kind of a attitude you are carrying. So, or I will say that kind of a bent of mind you are carrying will be more important for the companies as compared to that they are looking for I am just adding whether you qualified the inter both groups in one attempt, or you have passed the group one by one, or after maybe failing once or twice, and then you are becoming, hardly makes any difference, because as Sanjay ji also mentioned very clearly that they are looking that how much you will be able to contribute, what kind of a skill, because he mentioned that it is only the 15%. So the rest of the 85% is something which the company is looking into that person, that how that 85% I will be able to get from that person, that everybody will like a chartered accountant means chartered accountant, meaning thereby your aptitude is certified, that you are a technically knowledgeable person. That's it. Now beyond that, there will be a segregation, that one which is who is having the attitude, maybe some kind of and now I shared with you that whether you can speak in English or not, whether you are this or that or not, hardly makes any difference for the company. The company is looking for the go-getter, a contributor who can contribute in the success of the company.
Thank you. Yes, Niharji, you wanted to add.
I want to share only one experience. When about 2 to 3 years back, a friend recommended a student that he wants to undergo industrial training. I said, send him for interview. He said he is afraid because he comes from Rajkot and he can't speak English properly. What President Sir just now mentioned, same case. I said, you anyways send him to me. When he came, I interviewed him only for 10 minutes. He said, if you can speak in Gujarati, better, but I promise you in 2 months, I will be able to speak far better English. And I interviewed him in Gujarati. I noticed that he was a research-oriented person, and he has the attitude to learn and willingness to come up in life. I said, come what may, I'm taking you, you complete your paperwork, come here. And I did not regret. For 1 year, he worked so hard, and now he is in practice. He's running his own practice. He speaks far better English than what he used to after qualifying. And that shows if a person is willing to learn, there is nothing which can stop him. And I would prefer such person rather than selecting a person who is already an accomplished person. Train him and bring him up. That should be the attitude.
Thank you, sir. Sanjay ji, you also wanted to add something here.
No, I think the reality is what the president and the vice president spoke is very critical. It's really about mindset. There's one other thing that I would say that students need to start understanding. There is this whole concept of fixed mindset and growth mindset, and I think there is enough literature on this. The more you sit on the growth mindset, accountants are seen to be very difficult in change. We have a very fixed mindset. We're all driven by books, standards, structures, procedures. I think those days are gone now. We need to be much more innovative, inclusive, embrace diversity and inclusion, create a global mindset, like I said. So what I would say is really that, as long as you sit in the growth mindset, and that's what President said and the Vice President said, your chances of exponential growth are very, very relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Next question also I want to address to you only. A student says we have been listening to vocal for local, and now you have said glocal. So what additional qualities and requirements I should possess to get into global economy?
Great. I think, India is one of the best countries as a great example of this. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji, I think we all know that the mission of the country is to become globally much more relevant, which means, we're already pretty big from an Indian context. It's now reaching out to optimize on what the global, economy brings for us overall. Now, if you just think about vocal and local, you are actually now sitting either in a village or in a state or in a metro. Now start connecting your dots to, COVID-19 has happened. What does that mean to India overall? Now, a lot of us will think about lives around us, what's happening, you read newspapers, etc. Start thinking from a global business context. If you think ahead, next 18 to 24 months, number one is there is no rule book to what we are going to be facing. I think at the moment we've seen a lot of health challenge. The economic challenges are much more significant. So, the accountants are best placed to understand what these global economic challenges mean from an economic concept, from a global context, and what does that mean to India? India is a huge exporter of a lot of goods. Now think about those exports and what does it mean to your organizations if you're part of an organization. Think about the skilled labor. India is a huge outsourcing agency of skilled labor. Now, if you think about, office spaces, if you say that 20 to 25% of the workforce will now start working from home, what does that mean if you are a real estate business or you are an office? Do you really need to do that? But I also think it's a great opportunity because many countries do not have the skill set and the resourcefulness that India has. Now, if you start thinking from a global context and say, I want to export 20% of my resources without really exporting the resources from the country. So use technology. In the last 6 weeks or last 8 weeks, technology utilization has gone up 660%. 660%. At any given point of time, every minute, my understanding is now we have 44,000 malwares attacks, from a cybersecurity perspective. Now, if every accountant started using a little bit more knowledge to say, what are these cybersecurity issues that I need to be very future fit about? Because like I said, if 60% of your work is going to, move to technology or plus, those are the kind of connections we need to make. So use the global knowledge to really enrich your contribution, your connection to real issues rather than being stuck in these vocal issues. I know there's a lot of vocal issues around us at the moment. What I can say is spend time in things that you can change rather than things that you can't change. And the accountants have a great future to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jay sir, we'll take last two questions and then time is also, we are running short of time. Questions are so many. How will you encourage good companies to register them with this portal?
So here, Pramodji, the Student Skills Enrichment Board has already taken up this particular point as an agenda for the next meeting. And what we are working upon is, we are, we are having a list of all the various companies. Along with that, we also identified the chartered accountants. Today we have the data of the members in practice and the members in industry. So, we have to write to the practicing members with regards to articleship, and the members who are into industry with regards to the industry. They are our immediate link to the various companies. Along with that, we will be also contacting the HR department of various industries, and thereby, awareness campaign at the general level also will be done. At the same time, specifically to the chartered accountants in industry, as well as to the HR department, and all these things will be covered, of course, in our newsletters and all these things also, journals and like that. So I am sure that this purpose will be very well served. There is a strategy, but it will be further discussed in the meeting and finalized.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. President sir, again a creative question. Earlier we talked about smaller cities and bigger cities. Now the comparison is between accounting firms, that is articleship, and good corporates, that is industrial training. So question is, of course, the question is straight away asking for how will you rate and which is better. But I'll put the question in some different manner. Is industrial training or practical skill is giving more benefit as compared to accounting firms? This is what a student wants to ask.
Pramod bhai, just to answer this question, and I believe Sanjay ji answered this question in a different way. Yes. That what you want to do in your life, what is your expectations with your life, how you are receptive to receive something. So first of all, my dear younger brother and sister, all the students need to decide what they want to do in their life, and then accordingly they need to devise the strategy. They should become the maker of their destiny themselves. What I wish to convey you by these words, that in case somebody is looking to join the industry, now there will be the different, I will say, the roadmap. That okay, I want to become a CEO or the CFO or a company. Then you will have the different kind of a roadmap to join even the articleship training, in which kind of a firm I should join. And then based on that, after maybe I will be qualifying the intermediate examination up to this level, and then I will be joining. Accordingly, you have to plan your preparation for the exams as well. Now, somebody is looking to a hardcore practice. Somebody, for example, now just to share with you only as an illustrative example, that Jai Bhai is a master of X subject. Now, myself want to do an articleship training and I want to become the future master of that subject. Then what will happen? That I am not interested to join the industry. Now, what will be my best choice should be that I will be doing an articleship under Jai Bhai. Because what will happen that if I am working with Jai Bhai for 3 continuous years, gradually I will get the exposure to become the expert of that subject, wherein I wish to do the profession. I want to make my professional career in that particular field of profession. So that is something you need to have a close of your eyes, think what you want to become in your life, and then that should self-motivate you, energize your inside that okay, I want to do this, and this is the way forward, this is the path that by which I will be able to achieve that, and that is exactly will answer you. You yourself will be eligible, capable of answering this question once you will set your goal. And we can, as Sanjay ji rightly mentioned, we can give you everything, but you have to select what you want to have, where you want to go. So we can give you the pros and cons of all the whether it is a industrial training, articleship training, articleship with a smaller firm, articleship with a larger firm, articleship with a specialized firm, articleship with a generic firm. So all we can give the pros and cons. So there may be one creative question that I should go for a smaller firm or I can go for the larger firm. There may be another innovative question that I should go with a generic firm or I should go with a specialized firm. But the answer lies with you only, that what you want to do in your life, and based on that, automatically you should be your destiny. हमारे यहाँ पे जैसे संजय जी ने एक वो सुनाया रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर जी का, तो हमारे यहाँ पर एक वो छोटा सा वो है कि खुद को कर इतना बुलंद कि खुदा तुझसे पूछे बता दे रजा क्या है. हाँ, बता रजा क्या है. So that should be the case, that okay, you should be creating your own destiny. Just last line बताऊंगा. हमारे यहाँ पे एक पुरानी कहावत है, आर्यभट्ट जो हमारे मैथमेटिशियंस के वो थे, तो उनको बचपन में उन्होंने पूछा कि भाई मैं मैथमेटिक्स करना चाहता हूँ. तो उन्होंने एक ज्योतिष ने उनका हाथ देखा, वो बोला कि तुम्हारे हाथ में तो मैथमेटिक्स की लाइन ही नहीं है. तो उन्होंने कहा कहाँ पे लाइन होती है, थोड़ा बता दीजिए. तो उन्होंने क्या करा कि बोला यहाँ लाइन होती है. तो वो चक्कू लेके आए, अंदर से लाइन खींची, उसमें उन्होंने राख भर दी ताकि वो लाइन पक्की हो जाए. बोले देखो लाइन बन गई, अभी मैं बन के दिखाता हूँ आपको. तो that kind of a passion is there, then automatically everything will be in line.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Well, students, this was all the time we had for today's program. All the major issues we have tried to cover by answering your questions. But I can summarize in the way, friends, that hard work, dedication, tenacity, and commitment to achieve your goal are the qualities you require. Of course, mental strength and resilience are important, but single-minded devotion and unshakable faith in your capabilities, backed with, of course, intense and rigorous study, will see you through. The will to win, the desire to succeed, and the urge to reach to your final full potential are the keys that will unlock the doors of your personal excellence. Well, friends, somebody said good words are stronger than any medicine in this world. And we have seen this today when the learned, knowledgeable, distinguished dignitaries spoke on the subject. Let me take this opportunity to thank the learned and knowledgeable guest of honor, chairman of Professional Accountants and Business Committee of IFAC and CEO of Standard Chartered Bank Tanzania, Sanjay Rugani ji, our honorable, dynamic, I say, jodi of President and Vice President, Atul Gupta ji, Neha Niranjan, Jammu Saria ji, and ever smiling Chairman of SSB, Jay Acharya ji, for giving such an illuminating address and making us confident in all positive sense. I would like to thank all the student fraternity also for watching this program and having interactive participation through sending your questions in large number. Thank you to all. Thank you.
Thank you also. You conducted so well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay ji.
Thank you.
Jay bhai. Pramod Gupti, Vice President.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Sanjay ji, for sparing your valuable time.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope you like this program, sir.
Oh, it's very good. For you to have given so much time to students